Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to study or analyze the consumer choices or consumer preferences by using the second tool of ordinal approach of consumer behavior. In our last lesson, we studied budget line, which was telling us how much of the two goods a consumer can afford within his income and the prices of the goods in the market. And that budget line was not telling us about the consumer equilibrium. Clear? That was only telling us the affordability of the consumers when they are having income to spend that income on two goods X and Y, and prices are given by the market. Now consumer preferences they can be shown by using an indifference curve. So according to ordinal approach, we cannot say how much utility or satisfaction is derived after consuming a good. We cannot measure it in terms of numbers. There is no measuring method available to everyone that we can measure satisfaction or utility in terms of utils or any measuring unit. There is no way, because it is inner satisfaction that varies from one person to another. According to this approach, we see we can rank the goods. We can rank the goods according to consumer preferences. For example, if one of you is preferring chicken over mutton, why are you preferring chicken over mutton? Because chicken gives you more satisfaction than mutton. But how much satisfaction you are getting out of chicken, that cannot be measured. Clear? So sometimes we have strict preferences. Strict preferences. What do you mean by strict preferences? Like chicken that gives you more satisfaction than mutton. And this can be for one person, like Aisha, she is having this preference. She is having another preference. She is preferring mutton over chicken. That may happen. Or some students, they are preferring fish over mutton. So why consumers are having these preferences? Because chicken is giving more satisfaction than mutton, but how much satisfaction or utility is there, we cannot measure. Okay? We cannot measure the level of satisfaction or utility, but we can rank the goods according to consumer preferences. Okay, now I ask you one question. Does it happen with you that two goods are giving you same level of satisfaction? Sometimes you visit KFC and you see there are two different types of deals available to you. One is the burger deal, another is the fried chicken deal. So you have the limited income to spend. Okay, so you are just indifferent. Indifferent means what? Both the deals are giving you same level of utility, same level of satisfaction, and you are just confused. You see which deal to buy. So when two bundles, when different choices available to the consumer, they are giving him equal level of satisfaction, the consumer will be indifferent. What does it mean? There is choice A. There is choice A. You can see this is choice A and this is choice B. So consumer is now indifferent. How I write it? This is not a strict preference that every time consumer is preferring A over B, but both the goods, both the choices, they give the consumer equal level of satisfaction. Clear? So consumer is just indifferent which choice he has to make. because both are equally preferable. Clear or not? So a curve, here my topic is indifference curve. Indifference curve basically shows different bundles of two goods x and y, which give the consumer equal total utility or total satisfaction. So indifference curve क्या है? Indifference curve shows different combinations of two goods x and y, which give the consumer equal satisfaction, which give the consumer equal total utility or satisfaction. Okay, I'm not talking about the expenditures on it. Indifference curve is only telling us the choices. It is not telling us anything about the consumer affordability. It is representing the consumer choices. And along one indifference curve, the consumer is having different bundles of x and y, which make him indifferent, that each bundle is equally preferable because every bundle is having the same satisfaction than others. Okay, now I am going to draw an indifference curve. Here I am taking x and y, the two axes. X can be food and y can be clothing. Now see, this is an indifference curve. Look at the here we find that I have to draw a little bit smoother one. This is an indifference curve. It is downward sloping, isn't it? This is point A. At point A, consumer has more of y and less of x. Clear? And if he moves to point D, what happens? He is leaving the good y to get more x. Clear? But the satisfaction at A is same like at D. Clear? This indifference curve shows that all the choices which are available to the consumer, they are having equal level of satisfaction to the consumer. He is just indifferent because all the bundles lying along one indifference curve, they will show the equal level of total utility or total satisfaction. The thing is that consumer can have movement along one indifference curve. If he moves from left to right, he is substituting y with x. But satisfaction level of consumer will remain same. It is not going to vary. It is not going to change. And if he moves from D to A, at any point along one indifference curve, the total utility of the consumer will not change. It will remain same. Clear? Alright. So there can be, I have to explain you one or two more things. There is a map of indifference curve. Now, map means there are so many indifference curves available to the consumer. Now this is a higher indifference curve than the previous one. Here the bundles along this higher indifference curve will have the higher level of satisfaction than the previous one. Here the welfare level of consumer is more than the previous indifference curve, but along this indifference curve his satisfaction is same, although it is higher than the previous one. So any indifference curve which is lying away from origin, that has more level of satisfaction, more level of consumer welfare. Clear? So any indifference curve which is closer to origin, that means what? lower level of welfare or lower level of satisfaction to the consumer. Clear? But along one indifference curve, the satisfaction or total utility that will remain same. I am repeating again and again that it should inculcate into your mind that what do I mean by the indifference curve. Clear? Now one more thing. If you look at the shape of indifference curve, it is downward sloping, but its slope is not constant. Manahid, you are taking mathematics.
Yes, sir.
Is it constant slope?
No.
No. It is convex to the origin. Convex, do you know what is convex and concave?
Yes.
If you look at the spoon, the back side of the spoon is convex and the front side, that is the concave. So it is, if you look the indifference curve from the origin, it is convex to the origin. Its slope at the start is steeper, but as we move along this indifference curve, its slope is diminishing. What do you mean by diminishing slope? Here you have to draw a tangent. Here. This is change in y, this is change in x. So at the start, consumer has to give up more y for an extra unit of x. Clear? But as he moves on this side, what is happening to this triangle? Now its perpendicular is decreasing and base is increasing. So its slope is becoming flatter and flatter. That means the slope of indifference curve, that is diminishing, and its slope is called, it is given a name MRS, that is marginal rate of substitution. Marginal rate of substitution. Alright? MRS. How to find its slope? We are not given any utility function over here. MRS, that means change in y due to change in x. What does it mean? If consumer wants to have an extra unit of x, how many units of y has to give up? So if x is increasing, y will be decreasing. That means its slope is negative if x is increasing and y will be decreasing. They move in opposite direction. Now its slope equals to marginal utility of x over marginal utility of y. You have to remember this thing because I am not going to derive the marginal utilities of both x and y. Clear? So its slope is written that the marginal utility of x, here I am taking changing x on the denominator and writing the marginal utility of x on the numerator and marginal utility of y on the denominator. So as we consume more of x, its marginal utility will be decreasing, and as we are consuming less of y, its marginal utility will be increasing. So fall in the marginal utility of x will be gain in the marginal utility of y. So we can see the total utility will remain same, which was available at one point, that's remains same. There is change in marginal utility. The gain in satisfaction from one good will be the loss in satisfaction from another good. Therefore, its slope is called, it is downward sloping, it is negatively sloped, but its slope is diminishing as we move along the indifference curve. The gain in satisfaction from one good will be the loss in satisfaction from another good. Therefore, total utility remains same. Total utility will remain same. Okay, this is one indifference curve. It tells us the consumer preferences, and we studied that one indifference curve will show us the same level of satisfaction. There can be higher indifference curve which are showing us more satisfaction level. Okay, and there can be the lower indifference curves. And what is the slope of indifference curve? We studied one thing, that its slope is the ratio of the marginal utilities of x and y. Now, do you think indifference curves can cross with each other? Do you think the indifference curves, they can cross with each other? Okay. Here it is x and y. This is one indifference curve. This is going to be another indifference curve. They are crossing now. So if I say this is point A, this is point B, and this is point C. I am taking the 3 points on 2 indifference curves. Now be attentive. If I assume that this point A is lying along indifference curve 1, if this A point is present along indifference curve 1, it means at A and C total utility is same because it is lying on one indifference curve 1. Okay, now another assumption. If I see this point A is lying along indifference curve 2, so it means utility at A and B is also same. Can I say total utility of B and C is also same? No. Because B is lying along indifference curve 2, C is lying along indifference curve 1, their utilities cannot be the same one. Clear? So indifference curves do not cross with each other. Do not cross with each other. Clear? They do not cross because if A is lying along indifference curve 1, utility along A and C will remain same. If A is lying along indifference curve 2, utility along A and B will remain same. But utility at B and C cannot be same because they are on 2 different indifference curves. Therefore, we can conclude indifference curves do not cross with each other. This is a point which comes usually in our MCQs. Clear? Now, this is a normal indifference curve. There can be 2 different types of indifference curves. Like if the 2 goods are substitutes. If the 2 goods are substitutes, what will be the shape of indifference curve? Substitutes. This is also an indifference curve. Like this is tea, this is coffee. So at one time consumer is consuming one of them, not both of them. So either he is here at horizontal axis where consumer is consuming the tea and 0 coffee, or consumer is here where he is consuming only coffee and not tea. There is no in between combination available to the consumer. So for the substitutes, indifference curve will be having this shape, a downward sloping straight line indifference curve. Clear? So what about complements? When the 2 goods are complements, the indifference curve will have this shape. Like your right shoe and left shoe, they are the complements to each other. So we are having the fixed combination. Like right and left shoe, the consumer will always remain at this kink point. He cannot have more of right shoe than the left shoe. That there is one single left shoe whereas the right shoe are having more than one quantity. Is there of any use to the consumer? So for case of complements, so indifference curve will have this shape. Clear or not? So we studied the normal indifference curve, we studied the substitutes indifference curve, we studied the complements indifference curve. Should I go ahead to have the consumer equilibrium right now? Because it only tells us the consumer choices. It is again not telling us anything about consumer equilibrium. Should I go ahead to bring in budget line into this diagram? Okay. Don't be late. Okay. So we will continue from here. Okay. So this is your patience. You are continuously listening to me. Okay, that's very fine. But I will start from this point again from here. Okay. Thank you.